I just got home from work and I had some enlightening experiences. For people who don't know, I live in a red state. And I did not vote red. I'm not Republican, I'm independent. And I had two conversations with people who I found out partially through the conversation did and are red. These people, I'm not horribly surprised, were red voters, but they've always come across to me as very level-headed, very intelligent people. But the thing is, in these conversations, when I brought up why I was concerned, they actually seemed surprised. They actually seemed surprised. And it might be because they thought I was also a pretty intelligent, level-headed person. So they were probably not expecting me to be as obviously upset as I have been. In one of the conversations, I didn't break down and cry. I got close, but I didn't. And in one of the conversations, I said, we were talking about, the conversation got to the point of, it'll be nice to not have taxes taken out of my overtime. And I said, that would be nice. But it would be nice if that didn't come at the cost of people's lives. And this person stopped and looked at me and said, lives? Whose lives? And I said, nobody's dying. And I said, yeah, they have. Women have died because of this. Because of this person, because of this party, women have died and will continue to. And I don't know if that was the first time that it really clicked, but this person seemed to stop and actually think about it for a second. I don't think I changed their opinion, but I think I added some fuel to their thought processes. And with the other one, there was some added stressors to this particular conversation, not politically, just work stuff. And I did break down, I did have a crying moment. And I don't think they realized how much this actually is or could affect people. And the ones that do know that there was a chance of something negative happening when they voted with this particular person in office, they're thinking it's gonna take years. And it might take years for some of these things to happen, but it's not just him, it's his handlers. It's the people that he's had in place for years. The ones that have been working behind the scenes that I'm more concerned about. The only thing I'm concerned about when it comes to Mango Mussolini himself is the fact that he emboldens the idiots of the world to actually act upon their previously inhibited selves. Oh no, I wouldn't actually go out and hurt somebody because I don't agree with their race. Now they will. He is the reason they're doing that, because he doesn't have inhibitions. He just does the things. what I'm trying to say is I don't feel like the vast majority of people who voted red actually thought about all potential aspects. And if we're going to get through this together as a country, we're going to have to gently educate them so when they do learn, because that's not our lesson to learn, it's theirs. When they learn that lesson, they're going to have someone that they know already knew it to turn to. So pull out your lesson books, people, and gently throw those lessons at them. Because when this shit hits the fan, there's a good chance these people legitimately have no idea. None. I did it. I called him. It was pretty much what I expected. I even laid out a whole list of topics to talk to him about and explain and back my evidence up. My own father, who claims to love me, is so staunchly Republican and so staunchly religious that no matter how I explained it, he refused to see or understand that not only has he signed the death warrant of multiple other women, if for some reason I ever get pregnant again, and if there is a problem with that pregnancy, he may very well have signed my death warrant, his daughter's death warrant, his granddaughter's death warrant. We talked about him being a veteran and how he had an oath to uphold the Constitution, and he's not. He didn't like that. He fought back with the rhetoric that you would expect. I brought up the order to purge generals that Donald Trump wants to do, and how it literally mimics the Night of Long Knives. He wants it to happen. He didn't have anything to say on the taxes. Or the tariffs, or the cuts to the VA, the cuts to the schools. Oh, I'm sorry you're scared about that. Women's rights, abortion rights, etc. Basically a joke to him. And from a medical perspective, as an emergency medical technician who works in an ER, as a nursing student, as a woman who has had a child and had to have an urgent C-section. Explained to him that medically speaking, a miscarriage is an abortion, etc., etc., etc. I explained everything from a medical standpoint, including what places like Planned Parenthood actually do the majority of the time, including pap smears, preventative care. His only thing was, well, why don't they ever say that? They have. They have. They have shouted it from the rooftops. But you people are louder, and you plug your ears. And he just... And when I brought up who the Attorney General is going to be, he's like, oh, I don't know who that is. And I told him what that man is being accused of. And he goes, another thing that they're making up. And I go, okay, how about we look at it this way? What if the neighbor boy who did horrible things to me when I was 4 were to become the Attorney General? Would you be comfortable with it? That was the only time he paused. And even then, I asked him what his plan was when things don't go the way he thinks they're going to go. He doesn't have one. He doesn't care. He's too convinced. Too convinced. This is exactly what I expected. When I told him the only thing I would like for him to do is to find a textbook or some third-party, non-biased source to look up and understand how a human body works. And I mentioned that we are currently using a Pearson textbook in my class. He says it's so sad how deeply polluted the education system is. Now, for anybody who's wondering, no, my father did not go to college. Straight out of high school, he enlisted in the Air Force. And he went to Vietnam. As far as I know, he did not see action. He became the guards at the bases with a dog. He was one of them. I forget what they're called. Security forces. That was him. And he stayed in for 20 years. Because even though he's not diagnosed, I can guarantee you that man is autistic. And I brought up that for the first time in my life, having accommodations for my ADHD, I have never been able to do better in school. I have never been more comfortable taking tests than I have now with those accommodations. And that will be going away under Trump. Didn't faze him. He cares more about politics and religion than he does his own daughter, his only child. We talked a lot about other things and other situations because we don't talk often. I think that is the second or third time we've spoken this year. And there was an 8-year period of silence before that. But I educated him as politely as I could. And if shit does hit the fan, and if his reality is horribly altered in the future, I might listen. But I'm done. I'm done. I just had to know. I'll let you guys know how IVs go tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'd like to talk to a very specific group of people right now. And you're probably familiar with the type I'm about to describe, the kind of people who always have these hideous unkempt just for men beards and will put on sunglasses to go take videos of themselves yelling at their phone in the driver's seat of their $120,000 Duramax that they financed for like 22% interest and still have the balls to complain about how expensive things are. To those types of people, I just want to say, shut the fuck up about Laken Riley. First and foremost, because her family has very publicly asked y'all to knock this shit off and stop politicizing her death. But also because it is painfully obvious that not a single one of y'all actually give a shit about what happened to Laken Riley. Had Laken Riley survived and, another worst case scenario, been impregnated by this absolute monster, the same people who are trying to turn her death into a talking point would be out here demanding that she carry that baby to term. What happened to Laken Riley was horrible and should not have happened. But since her death, there have been thousands, literally thousands of women who have been killed by U.S. citizens. None of y'all care about this girl. You are using her death as a convenient tool to justify the fact that you're a racist asshole. So genuinely, from the very depths of my soul, fuck you.